Do you remember when they tried to tell us that he was going to end all the wars and he would never start another war? There would never be a war under me. Oh, there would never have been a Ukraine war. This fucking guy, we are getting a story coming out that in 2019, he sent a Navy SEAL team, the same team that took out bin Laden, into North Korea to try and plant a listening device near Kim Jong-un. And the mission immediately failed. Instantly failed, causing our SEALs killed a whole bunch of North Korean civilians, just like fucking shellfish guys diving to go get shellfish, and then stabbed their lungs so they would sink to the bottom of the ocean. Not only that, we've got Venezuelan Jets, F-16s, armed, doing flybys over the USS Jason Dunham. And if you remember my previous video, we were talking about all of the warships. We sent 9 fucking warships and a submarine to Venezuela. So now the Venezuelans, they're not just a whole bunch of militiamen. They got F-16 fighter jets armed. So they did a flyby, right, over us. And now Trump is like, that's a threat. We're going to fuck you up. Motherfucker, you're the one who sent the warships. You fucking idiot. You put a hit on Maduro's head. What do you think is going to happen? Then we got Mike Johnson saying Trump is an FBI informant for Jeffrey Epstein to track his case, which is if you believe that shit, bro, I have a Nigerian prince who needs your social security number to send you $50 billion. Like, so first it was, we're going to release the Epstein list. Then it was, there is no Epstein list. Then it was, all right, here's the Epstein list, but it's redacted. Then it was, oh, the Epstein list is a Democrat hoax. And now it is, oh, the Epstein list is real and I'm on it, but I was an FBI informant and I was trying to, call me super secret spy agent Donald Trump. Shut up, fatty. That's not real, okay? Then we got Trump threatening apocalypse in Chicago. Not even a joke. Get a look at this one. I love the smell of deportations in the morning. Chicago, about to find out why it's called the Department of War. And then look at this shit. Shipocalypse now. This is insane. How is this? Dude, this shit should get you arrested and impeached. And he posted this himself, bro. He posted this himself. Like, this isn't a retweet. So, a lot to talk about. It's scary. It's stupid. But we have a president who is not only waging war, illegal wars all over the planet, but he's waging a war on his own people here in the United States. And at the same time, like, he claims to be, he wants a Nobel Peace Prize. I ended 7 wars. Some even call it 10. No, you didn't. And you are, let's just real quick. Illegally bombed Iran. Threatened to invade Greenland. Threatened to invade and annex Canada. Threatening to invade Mexico. Already drew up plans. Threatening to invade Venezuela. And he's practically already started. Bombing Yemen. What else do we got? There's got to be more. Now we got this North Korea thing. It just, like, he's not the anti-war president. He's the super war president. And there's even more. I can't even list them all. There's even more, dude. Okay. Let's start with the failed SEAL Team 6 operation. This is a New York Times article. It's really long, but this is the part that I find most interesting, when the mission was compromised. So this is in 2019 when Trump was meeting with Kim Jong-un and, he crossed over the DMZ to go shake his hand and whatnot. Here we go. So the SEALs, this is when, like I talked about, the SEALs essentially, they pulled up in mini submarines, docked on the bottom of the ocean, swam out with fucking rebreathers all the way up to the top. And while they're in like a fucking darkness, black water, and black wetsuits, right, they get up to this rocky shore that they practiced for this for months. They rehearsed this for months. They get up to this rocky shore that was supposed to be completely deserted. And then out comes a fucking wooden dinghy fishing boat, right, with some flashlights, because they go diving for shellfish. And at the same time, they also heard a weird fucking noise in what should be, like we're saying, a deserted area. They probably came for the shellfish. So they have their flashlights and they shine it, right, essentially on the SEALs, or before they can, the SEAL team leader opens fire. And that's where this article picks up. If the SEALs were unsure whether the mission had been compromised before they fired, they had no doubt afterward. The plan required the SEALs to abort immediately if they encountered anyone. North Korean security forces could be coming. There was no time to plant the device. The shore team swam to the boat to make sure that all of the North Koreans were dead. They found no guns or uniforms. Evidence suggested that the crew, which people briefed on the mission said numbered 2 or 3 people, had been civilians diving for shellfish. All were dead, including the man in the water. So one of the men dove into the water to go get the shellfish. Officials familiar with the mission said the SEALs pulled the bodies into the water to hide them from the North Korean authorities. One added that the SEALs punctured the boat crew's lungs with knives to make sure their bodies would sink. Then the SEALs swam back to the mini-subs, sent the distress signal, and they essentially extracted safely. I want you to imagine for just a second, I know it's an insane hypothetical, but try to, like, turn the tide. Try to, I know that we're the big frog and they're the little frog, but try to imagine that somewhere in, I don't know, like, New York Harbor, a squad of North Koreans pulled up and found a bunch of American fishermen and fucking killed them, stabbed their lungs, pulled them into the water and left. Could you just imagine the American reaction to that? People would be demanding a fucking nuclear strike of Pyongyang, right? And we just get to do whatever the fuck we want. Bella Kafefi. We get to do whatever the fuck we want. It's delusional. And this is in 2019. This is during his first term, which makes me think, what other failed military operations have we had under this fucking doofus? Anyway, we're going to move on to his reaction here. Trump says he doesn't know anything about the reported violent failed SEAL Team 6 mission. Here's the thing. In that article, which you should read, the New York Times article, it said that the mission was so advanced, so dangerous, because North Korea is a nuclear-armed nation, and Trump was in the middle of a fucking nuclear deal with them, that they had to get express permission from the president. So we already know, confirmed, that this is a lie when Trump says he doesn't know anything. This is a confirmed lie. He said on Friday he didn't know anything about what the New York Times reported was classified. The Pentagon and the U.S. Special Operations Command declined to comment. So they're just keeping their fucking mouth shut the way that Trump always does. Now, get this, right?
What happens if Venezuela flies jets?
Let me pause this here. So here's the first thing. Venezuelan jets flew over the U.S. Navy, right? The USS Jason Dunham. F-16s, armed. These are not like fucking papier-mâché planes. This is not like some militia with a handmade pipe rifle. This is an actual fighter jet that is armed. And now I understand the United States military is incredibly deadly and we could probably shoot that thing out of the fucking sky. But that's an insane escalation. That is war. I know you're already claiming that like we're practically at war, but you don't have congressional approval because you've labeled all drug cartels as terrorist organizations, and then you labeled the entire Venezuelan government as a drug cartel, and you don't need congressional approval to go to war with terrorist organizations. And if A plus B equals C, if A equals B and B equals C, then A equals C. So what you're doing is trying to find a legal loophole to go to war without congressional approval. Just like Obama did. Obama. Okay, so the Venezuelans who are facing up against like 4,500 Marines, a whole bunch of Navy sailors, 9 American warships, a fucking U.S. Navy submarine, right? They fly 2 F-16s and listen to Trump's response from this, right? Ready?
What happens if Venezuela flies jets over U.S. naval vessels again?
Well, I would say they're going to be in trouble. We'll let them know about that. We heard that happen, but it wasn't really over, not like they described. But I would say, General, if they do that, you have a choice of doing anything you want, okay? If they fly in a dangerous position, I would say that you can...
Dude, this is the equivalent of punching somebody, and then they come back, and they like get ready to swing up, and you go, oh my God, guys, are you seeing this? This guy's trying to fucking fight me. I guess I'm gonna have to... You're like, what the fuck are we talking about?
You or your captains can make the decision as to what they want to do, all right? Sure. Say it.
How close did they get? You said the planes did not.
Well, I don't want to talk about that, but if they do put us in a dangerous position, they'll be shot down.
The Maduro regime is pushing back today. In fact, they say the U.S.
I love that they have the audacity to call it the Maduro regime, but they don't call it the Trump regime. I call it the Trump regime. You guys here know that we call it the Trump regime, and I say it so fucking often that it's become second nature.
Change through military threat, your reaction to those words, and also, would you like to see regime change in Venezuela?
Well, we're not talking about that, but we are talking...
You absolutely want to see regime change. You put a fucking $50 million bounty on goddamn Maduro's head. That's regime change, you doofus.
About the fact that you had an election which was a very strange election, to put it...
Okay. It wasn't a strange election. What happened was in your first term, King Doland, you had a failed CIA coup d'etat attempt in Venezuela, where we pretended, like this guy named, I think it was Juan Guaido, was that his fucking name? We pretended that this guy was the president of Venezuela, okay, because he was an American puppet that would just do whatever the Department of War would tell him to do, right? He was just a State Department puppet. And this is what we've done throughout history in South America. Look up the list of CIA coup d'etats in South America. It's fucking insane. It looks like a Star Wars intro, right? And you, King Doland, you failed that military coup d'etat, and now that Nicolas Maduro is the goddamn leader, you're saying, oh, it was a scam election, it was a fraudulent election. No, you fucked up another military operation, just like you did in North Korea, because you're a stupid fat fuck.
I'm being very nice when I say that. I can only say that...
and look at him. Let me turn off the subtitles. Look at him hiding his fucking hand.
Billions of drugs are pouring into our country from Venezuela. The prisons of Venezuela have been opened up to our country.
Bullshit.
They've taken their prisoners, the worst prisoners, murderers.
Bullshit.
Tren de Aragua.
Bullshit.
The worst prisoners that you can ever imagine are now happily living in the United States of America. And when I see boats coming in, like loaded up the other day with all sorts of drugs, probably fentanyl mostly, but all sorts.
I don't buy this, by the way. That boat, we watched it because Pete Hegseth posted that snuff film. Why the fuck would you put 11 people on a drug boat when the whole idea is to get as much drugs as you possibly can? What the fuck is the point? Here's my theory. I think that was just a boat full of migrants trying to escape the Maduro regime. And that was like a dog whistle for people like Stephen Miller, right? And like the Nazi ICE Gestapo thugs. It was a dog whistle being like, hey, look, this is what we do now. This is how we treat them. We just straight up fucking kill them. Judge, jury, executioner.
Drugs, and we're going to take them out. And if people want to have fun going on the high seas or the low seas, they're going to be in trouble.
What the fuck are the low seas, you dumb doofus? Okay, now, moving on. In regards to Trump and Epstein, so the latest play by Trump, they've moved from it's a Democrat hoax to they're going to release the list, and it's going to be, we talked about this in our last video because a brave woman from, I believe, Veritas, Project Veritas, wore a secret camera and went on a hinge date with the chief analyst of what is it? Chief analyst of the FBI or some shit? Whatever the fuck. He spilled all the beans in the Jeffrey Epstein files, and he said that what's going to happen is the Trump regime is going to release the files, but it's going to be a redacted version of it where they leave the names of all the liberals and all the Democrats, and they redact the names of Trump and every conservative, every Republican, right? Now, here's the thing. I don't give a shit if you're a liberal or go to prison, right? But I need the Republicans too. That's not good enough. So the latest play is that if Trump's name is going to be on this list, which it is, every single fucking page, now they're claiming that Trump was an FBI informant, that his involvement with Epstein is real. He was there, but he was wearing a wire. I had to do terrible things. I'm not kidding. Check this out. This is Mike Johnson, Speaker of the House.
I'm not saying that what Epstein did is a hoax. It's a terrible, unspeakable evil. He believes that himself. When he first heard the rumor, he kicked him out of Mar-a-Lago. He was an FBI informant to try to take this stuff down.
What? Like, look at his face. Here's my thing. I don't think that he was like nervous because he's like, oh my God, I wasn't supposed to say that because he thinks it's true. No, what I think is that this is a card they had up their sleeve and they weren't prepared to deploy it, and he accidentally deployed it early because it was like from a recent briefing that they had gotten.
First heard the rumor, he kicked him out of Mar-a-Lago. He was an FBI informant to try to take this.
Did you see that? Did you see that?
Stuff down. The president knows and has great sympathy for the women who have suffered these unspeakable harms. It's detestable.
And also, I want to point out that this reporter didn't even fucking react to that. He doesn't even give a shit. Thank you for becoming a loyalist. Watch this.
When he first heard the rumor, he kicked him out of Mar-a-Lago. He was an FBI informant to try to take this stuff down.
Like, bro, are you on fucking Ativan? Wake up, wake up, wake up. How are you not going to react? All right, and then the very last thing is that we talked about this in the beginning. I want you to look at, so we know that Trump is invading Chicago. He already said it. He said, we're coming. He said, we're coming. And it looks like he's making like insane, violent threats now. So I do think that the invasion of Chicago is going to be like It's gonna make the LA protests look like a fucking birthday party, like a kid's birthday party. Look at this. I love the smell of deportations in the morning. Chicago about to find out why it's called the Department of War. Shipocalypse now. That's napalm. He's talking about a napalm strike. He's talking about a napalm strike on Chicago. Peaceful dove, right? Peaceful dove, right? Oh, and I already know. I know. It's meant to trigger the libs. It's AI generated. Oh, you're falling for Trump rage bait. I don't give a fuck that it's rage bait. I give a fuck that the President of the United States is willing to joke about napalming his own fucking people while we have a Nazi Gestapo ICE thug group rounding up fucking migrants. I mean, this is going to be a fucking nightmare. This is going to be a fucking nightmare. Anyway, listen, if you're live, you stay. We're going to keep on going. If you're watching this pre-recorded on YouTube, thank you very much for tuning in. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. It costs you nothing, and it helps me immensely. Also, remember, this is real independent journalism. I never had a conversation with an advertiser or a billionaire or a government. So if you do want to help me out, a couple of ways you could do it. Click the thanks button down below to donate to the channel. You could buy merch like the Democratic Socialist poster. You can use a 40% off discount code for Ground News. You could become a member for $5, and you could become a patron for $5. Thank you very much for 87,000 subscribers. We're inching closer and closer to 100K. I love you very much. And do me one last favor. Click that video over there. It's a banger. And I know bangers.